simulcast on DZRJ 810 AM. And I am Confi Manalo.
And I'm Chito Lozada. Good morning.
Yeah, today's topic, today is Thursday, July 21, and our topic for today is connected to our episode on Tuesday. We had Miss miss ko itong we had Sid Picache Marquez, a financial advisor, to discuss the importance of financial literacy. And now we will have someone who is trusted by the entrepreneurs, business leaders, and even economists. He is often interviewed for his wealth of knowledge on market views on the stock and currency trading.
And also business reporters.
He's always quoted. He's always interviewed by our business writers. His unbiased and unfiltered insights and analysis bagged him multiple global awards. We are talking about the former BDO chief market strategist and now the consultant on financial services and strategies at eMethods for Business Management Corporation, Mr. Jonathan Ravelas. Good morning, Sir Jonas.
Hi, Jonathan.
Good morning.
So sorry for letting you wait.
So first question, Boss Chito.
We're now on a digital platform in the stock market. I just wonder what changes have been, what have you experienced? Are there any substantial differences in trading and how people appreciates the stock market right now, Jonathan?
Well, basically, I guess the trading floor closure, we've always had a functional unification ever since. So I think the only difference now is that people can trade more freely because of technology, So it encourages more of the younger generation to try doing investment. So this is something that is ongoing. And especially now when people start thinking about financial literacy, and we have these financial payments, ease of payments that are happening thanks to the likes of GCash, BDO Pay, Paymaya. So people are more encouraged to do equities trading. And hopefully they're not just trading, but really investments.
So, Sir Jonas, we have a new administration, and one of the biggest challenges of the new administration is, of course, the recovery of the economy. And unfortunately for the Marcos administration, there's a lot of headwinds going on, particularly external factors. So, let me, can we ask you what's happening in the Philippine economy on your viewpoint, and how resilient is our economy despite these global headwinds like the war in Ukraine, the supply chain bottleneck, the strengthening of the US dollars, and the aggressiveness of the Federal Reserves, and the petroleum price. So how are we doing, or how do you think our economy or our administration will fare in spite of all this?
Okay, let me try to put up, I think our problem today is a SHE problem. S-H-E. S is for social, H is for health, and E is for economy. So on the social front, we are again challenged by food, jobs, and at the same time, we are also challenged by power and water. Kakulangan natin sa tubig, may power shortage, and at the same time, we have issues of education. The last 2.5 years was not good for our young population who is our future. Kailangan bumalik na talaga tayo sa face-to-face. We need to be able to try to mitigate the circumstances. So maraming problema dyan. So one of them is transport, paano tayo makakapag face-to-face when we're able to, when there is no transportation for the teachers and even for the students who are in the public school. Diba? So that's one. Second is the health. Kailangan natin paigtingin yung ating healthcare sector, especially with these concerns of new COVID cases na tumataas ulit. We need to be able to address two things: faster vaccination, and at the same time, we need to boost the information, tulad ng program nyo. We should always consider telling the rest of the Philippines na, despite that we're slowly moving into an endemic, we should also put up our guards against this. Plus, we need the government to ensure that universal healthcare will be implemented well. Diba? The third is eventually economic. So, economic is broken down in three things. So, the first is prices, or ito yung tinatawag na inflation. So, dito nakikita na natin yung impact ng, all of our problems are basically imported. Number one, as a result of the war, supply chain disruptions, nandyan yung inflation. Number two, the impact of global monetary tightening led by the US is also a problem, not just only in prices, but also it's a challenge in cost of doing business. Number two is job creation. So unemployment rate now is at around 6%. So over the last 2-3 months, we've seen a lot of bus drivers losing their jobs, particularly the provincial buses. So they're over around 26,000 people. And eventually, the last is how do we sustain growth? Diba? So yan ang challenge ng Marcos administration today at this point in time. But again, that's just one side. The other side is, let's talk about what has transpired since start of the year. The key word is rescue. Rescue is broken down into three things. The first is recovery. Since 2020, we started recovery already. So, further reopening of the economy has eventually transpired. We're at the lowest alert level since the pandemic. So, that's actually a good sign. Manufacturing is slowly coming back. The last 2 quarters, we've seen growth rates of 7.8 in the fourth quarter and 8.3 in the first quarter. However, I guess the concern is that most of this growth, probably until the second quarter, will be driven by election spending, diba? But it will also be marred by the rising inflation. So that is eventually a challenge. Second is that there is support. When the economy started feeling inflation, we saw government providing support to the marginalized sector and the transport sector through the use of subsidies. So ito yung nakukolekta from the mga excesses natin from the excise tax on oil. So which is eventually good, especially when it comes to a country that is a diesel economy. So kung hindi natin bibigyan ng subsidy yung transport sector, then there could still be more pressure of what people call the second round effects. Okay. So yung second round effects na yan yung pagtaas ulit ng mga presyo at saka mga salaries because of this rising inflation. So yan yung challenge. And of course, may support na yan, nandito na tayo sa continuity. And that continuity, hopefully, will be more driven by government initiated programs to enable the economy to move forward. Kaya siya tinatawag na rescue. So that's recovery, support, and continuity.
Continuity. So you're saying that the election spending had a lot of help, provided a lot of help to the recovery pace. How long do you think this would persist? I mean, how long would this election money, the assistance to the economy, the push from the election money will go on until the fourth quarter of the year?
Well, I think until the first half, I think it will eventually still give us a higher than 7% first half number. I think the second half of the year will be challenging. My forecast for the full year 2022 is looking at around 6.25%. I don't expect inflation to probably peak. It is still yet to peak at around December.
You mentioned that these subsidies or the ayuda that were given to the transport sector and the poorest of the poor help the economy recover because as you've described that we are a diesel economy or consumer driven economy. But then again, the money from these subsidies are sourced from foreign debts or local debt. So you were able to solve one problem today but then in the coming month or the coming years, the public will start paying for these loans for the subsidy. So, is that good or bad in the long term?
Okay, I think we need to, it is actually a mitigating circumstance. So this is something like just the 4 Ps. I think ang importante dito is that yung kinukunan natin ng pang support doon sa mga subsidies na ginagawa ng gobyerno is actually coming from, remember, there is a target value that they expect from revenues from the excise tax on oil. So, pag may sumobra doon sa budget, yan na yung ginagamit nila for what they're doing for number one, katulad ng carousel, yung extension ng carousel, and then support sa jeepney drivers. So, they're actually not getting that from a loan. They're getting it from the excess collections. So, let's make it clear. I think ang key factor dito is that the government needs to ensure that the Philippine economy will recover well. So, kung hindi nila tutulungan yung transport sector, then that could still put pressure on price inflation to head higher. No?
Right, correct, yes. Yung increase sa oil prices would result in higher excise tax collections. Do you have a computation kung how much higher the excise tax collections?
I don't have the numbers at this time. But again, I think the government has already made a statement about how much are they giving the subsidies, ano? So I think the key question right now is hopefully we're able to mitigate the high inflation. So from an analyst perspective, we think that ditong high condition ng inflation could last till the first quarter of 2023. So after that, bababa na. Hopefully, no? I guess ang key factor dyan is number one, kung biglang mawala yung war sa Ukraine. If that materializes, then we'll eventually get to see that. Second is that right now, bumababa yung oil dahil nakikita natin na merong yung mga ibang analysts are already fearing a potential US recession. So, syempre, kung may recession fears, magbababaan yung presyo. So, these are just fears at the moment. The key question is, there are other factors that drives oil prices higher. So, nandyan yung colder winter. Pag mas magkaroon ng colder winter, then definitely yung demand for oil tataas in the second half. Then, yan yung isa sa mga sanang hindi mangyari. No?
Yeah, aside from the US, there's also fear that the European countries are headed into a recession because of the supply of oil coming from Russia. So,
Plus
how would that factor in?
Plus the lockdowns.
Lockdowns pa.
Sa China.
Yeah, so all of these are creating those concerns. But again, when we look at the Philippines, we're really more domestic. We're a consumption-driven economy. I guess ang nangyayari lang sa atin is that the sentiment at the moment, there's really no reasons yet kung paano natin masosolve tong problema. And today, the government is over 20 days pa lang naman eh. So hopefully the State of the Nation address will address this situation. Diyan niya sasagutin paano natin sosolvin yung SHE problem, yung social, health, and economic. So once they're able to provide that will give us a better picture on paano natin gagalawin yung environment, 'di ba? Kasi right now it's all uncertainty. Parang mag-isip ka ngayon ng reason para bumaba yung inflation, wala kang makita except recession fears. 'Di ba? And the other thing that I failed to mention earlier is yung tinatawag na food nationalism. Meaning other countries that export food, some governments are doing some protectionist strategies. Ibig sabihin, hindi ka pwede mag-export, kailangan unahin mo muna yung domestic. Yung ating bansa, no? Na para sigurado tayo hindi tayo magugutom. di ba? So hopefully the new administration will try to do deals with the likes of Vietnam and Thailand na kailangan suportahan mo kami, di ba? And I think this is going to be good for us because we have ASEAN, di ba? Diyan pwede natin mapaigting yung tinatawag na ASEAN Economic Community na matagal nang hindi masyado nabigyan ng pansin ng ASEAN. But this food situation could be an eye-opener for AEC.
Before we take a break, Compi, one last question. You mentioned yung mga external factors. How about yung domestic sources of uncertainties? Do you see anything within the horizon, within the short horizon, Mr. Rabelas?
Well, so far, I think talagang ang problema lang natin ngayon is the inflation. No? And I think until such time, the new administration addresses the sheep problem, then doon natin mag-gauge kung meron domestic. But offhand, ang isang laging nagiging problema ng isang administrasyon is really yung absorptive capacity ng gobyerno. 'Di ba? Kahit sabihin natin magi-infrastructure spending tayo, pero hindi naman ganong kabilis, no? Sa mga nakikinig natin, simple lang po 'yan. Parang pag uminom ho kayo ng tubig, hindi ho kayo agad maiihi. 'Di ba? It will take time. Your body will process it. So ganun po yung absorptive capacity. So minsan mabagal po yung pag execute. So natatagalan, 'di ba? So yan po yung isang, lalo na ngayon dahil yung ng Mandanas ruling, 'di ba? So mas meron pang share yung local government. So yung ibang activity ang magpapatakbo na niyan yung local government. Hindi katulad dati na pag sinabi sa taas from the central government, eto gagawin natin, implementing lang yung ating mga agencies on the LGU front, 'di ba? Ngayon it will be the LGU themselves who will implement it on a local front.
Okay, we'll ask about that Mandanas ruling. It's getting interesting, Comfy.
Oh nga, yeah. And kaya we have to take a short break. And after the break, we will continue our enlightening discussion with Mr. Jonas Ravelas.
Correct.
And you're still watching Straight Talk, and kasama pa rin natin si Mr. Jonas Ravelas. And sir, kanina bago tayo mag-break, meron kang naiwang question about yung about the Mandanas ruling. So
Jonathan, I just want to know what would be the overall effect of the ruling, since I believe that the full effect will take place in around 2023.
Yes.
So there would be
ang talagang impact lang yan, medyo babagal lang ng konti kasi dati from the national government, you just implement kung ano yung project mo. Ngayon, you have to coordinate with the local government units, and they're the ones going to be in charge of those agencies, di ba?
Correct.
So, baka medyo magkaroon ng konting bagal. So, I think what is really important now is for local governments to eventually train their people, no? And isa po yan sa mga ginagawa namin sa EMBM is to do corporate governance, and then yung mga best practices, paano po mag-implement ng mga project, para maintindihan po ng mga local governments, and eventually maganda yung pag-implement nila at mabilis, diba?
Sir, kanina before our break, you've been discussing that one of the reasons why it is important for us for the national government to provide assistance or subsidies sa ating mga nangangailangan is because we are a consumption driven economy. So, and consumption and investment have been providing the sustenance of our economic growth. So, do you think in the next quarter or in the coming months, will our consumption and investment sustain the economic growth of the country?
Okay. Pag sinabi naman natin na kaya ba nating sustain yung growth, I think a 6.25% growth, I think, is a reasonable growth, especially despite the challenges na nakikita natin ngayon, mataas ang inflation, no? So, dito natin makikita yung resilience ng ating consumption. Remember, saan po tayo nagre-rely ng consumption? Diyan po sa mga OFW. Ngayon po mas mahina na yung piso, mas malaki po yung buying power ng OFW. Diba? So, isa po yan. Pangalawa, yung mga BPO call centers, maganda po ang kita niyan. Kasi ngahil nagmamahal nga ho sa ibang bansa, makikita po natin ngayon na mas lumalaki yung chance na maraming magpatayo ng BPOs or lalong dumami ang mga kontrata ng BPOs. Nakikita po natin na yung consumption na yan, kahit na the last few months mataas na yung inflation, nakikita pa rin po natin marami sa ating mga kababayan sa mga coffee shops, sa mall, kumakain. Pag nag-interview po kayo ng mga restaurant, sasabihin nila, pre-pandemic levels na po, di ba? Ito po yung nakikita natin na impact ng tinatawag na revenge spending. Kahit mahal na po yung mga bilihin, pero talagang the last 2 years po, marami po sa atin talagang naranasan makulong. Di ba? So, syempre gusto nilang lumabas and for mental health. Yung iba talagang mas gusto nilang medyo lumabas kasi 2.5 taong nakakulong, di ba?
Isa pa, tama yung observation nyo. I agree with you dyan, Sir Jonas. No? Kasi, in fact, yung mga luxury brands sa Pilipinas, they are reporting huge sales. In fact, nag-expand yung mga luxury brands dito. Bukod sa i-expand na existing, nagdadagdag pa ng mga bagong luxury brands dahil surprising sabi na,
maraming savings.
Tao Pilipino may panggasta.
Right.
Ito po yung storya niyan. Kaya po masasabi ko na maganda pa rin po kahit po meron tayong mga masama po yung panghinaharap natin dahil sa inflation, sa problema natin sa social, health at economic. Meron po naman po tayong mga highlights tungkol sa Philippine economy na kaya tayo tinatawag na resilient economy. Number 1 po, pag pinag-usapan nga natin yung consumption, nandyan yung OFW, nandyan yung BPO. Tayo po, very unique po yung importansya ng BPO kasi dyan po nauso yung 24/7, di ba? Hindi po katulad dati nung wala po mga BPO, pagkatapos po ng 7, 8 o'clock, wala na hong negosyo, di ba? Pero ngayon, dahil may call center, nagke-create po yan ng pangalawang jobs. Diba? So, kasi pakakainin nyo yung taong nagtatrabaho sa gabi at saka sa umaga, diba? So, yung ibang restaurants na malapit doon, nagkakaroon ng trabaho. Kaya nga sila pinapapasok. Diba? Kailangan pumasok sila para pumikot yung economy, diba? Kasi kung sa bahay ka lang, walang mangyayari, diba? Walang bibili ng mahal na kape. Puro instant lang, di ba?
Kaya yung mahal na kape na yan.
Di ba? So, yan yung isa sa mga pinapakita natin na umiikot yung economy natin. Tapos, ang isang unique sa ating mga Pilipino, marunong tayo sa mag-shift ng budget. Pag mahal, lumilipat tayo. Di ba nagkakaroon ng substitution?
Correct.
Kung hindi ka makabili ng butter, bili ka margarine. Di ba? O kung hindi ka makabili ng isang bote ng shampoo, bibilhin mo sa shades. Di ba? Para ma-fit yung budget.
Correct.
So,
Yes.
dyan mo makikita yung kaya natin mag-budget economy pero okay pa rin tayo.
Mhm.
'Di ba? So, this is a good thing about the Philippine economy. And bakit? Number one, nandyan yung another word, no? Another acronym, GDP. Nandyan yung globalization. Dahil yung Pinoy, alam na, lahat tayo marites, 'di ba? So, tumitingin tayo sa internet. Marami tayo, katulad ng sabi mo, alam na natin yung luxury brands na yan. 'Di ba?
Aha.
So the globalization is creating the wants of the Filipino. Number two, yung demographics natin. Dahil tayo masyado pang batang economy na ang majority natin nasa 18 to 30 years old, which is roughly close to 40% of our economy, sila po yung may malaking propensity na gumastos. 'Di ba? Sa isa pong tao, mula po nag-graduate kayo ng college hanggang 60, malaki po yung pwedeng yung i-increase ang sweldo. Unlike po sa ibang countries na pag 60 pababa, puro gastos na lang yan kasi pupunta kayo sa doktor, may sakit kayo, 'di ba? Hindi na masyadong productive. So, tayo po sa ASEAN, 1 decade from today, tayo pa rin 1% yung population growth, kaya batang-bata. So, yung mga kumpanya, lalo na yung mga retail stores, gusto niya puro bata kasi talagang sila yung nabibili. So, the demographics is there. Potential income, potential demand nandyan. And then of course, yung P, yung people. Yung people skills natin, yan ang importante. 'Di ba? Kaya nga tayo nagpapadala ng OFW. Ngayon, yung ating BPOs, yung tourism sector natin. So, they're benefiting from dito sa mga consumption factors na nangyayari sa economy. Kaya kayang-kaya pa rin natin mag-grow ng 6%. Baka yung iba na hindi makabili ng Louis Vuitton, ang bibilhin na lang siguro Coach o iba. Basta lang masatisfy nila yung need, 'di ba? O yung kanilang desire. Hindi naman kailangan agad bibili ka ng mas mahal, 'di ba? But the consumption factor is there, 'di ba?
So it creates an economic cycle, no?
Yes.
Para to get the
Kaya parang alam nyo, ganito lang po yan.
momentum.
Isipin nyo, yung Pilipinas parang farm of animals. O gusto nyo, chicken o poultry. Pag nagutom po yan, kakain yan. Maghahanap po yan ng kakainin. And that's the type of the Philippine economy ngayon, di ba?
Correct. Yes.
So, dahil may jobs ka sa OFW at saka BPOs, yan po yung nagpapatakbo ng economy. Hopefully, yung susunod na magpapatakbo niyan, manufacturing na. Diba? Pag natapos yung mga infra projects na ginagawa ng gobyerno na nasimulan na since 2010. No?
So that's where the flow of investments will come once
Yes.
this infrastructure
Yung pa rin talaga.
projects.
Kailangan natin pagandahin yung revitalizing infrastructure so that we're able to encourage foreign direct investments. Ang nagiging problema lang natin, majority ang ating mga nakukuhang investor yung nag-i-invest outside or yung nasa loob ng PEZA zone. 'Di ba? Kaso nagma-manufacture sila pero binebenta abroad. 'Di ba? Minsan makikita natin makakabili tayo ng produkto made in the Philippines. In-export natin tapos binalik sa atin dito ng mas mahal,
Mas
'di ba?
mahal. Right.
Oo. So kailangan maka-encourage tayo ng mga magi-invest dito at magtatayo outside the PEZA zone. Bakit po kailangan natin yung outside the PEZA zone? Kasi kaya sila nag-i-invest dito, kailangan gusto nila maibenta dito sa Pilipinas. Kasi nga marami nga tayo, 100 million mga bata, di ba? And we benefit from this, lower costs. Pag na-produce dito tapos binenta dito, that benefits consumers. Tulad po yan nung simula po ng 2016, dalawa lang po ang major player ng broadband, Globe at saka Smart or PLDT, di ba? Bago po umalis si President Duterte, marami na pong players. Nandiyan po yung dito, nandiyan po yung Converge, di ba? Nakikita po natin na bumaba ang cost ng 300 Mbps. Dati nasa mga 5,000. Ngayon, may makukuha kayo niyan na mas mababa pa kaysa doon sa mga presyo na nasabi dati. Diba? So, that benefits consumers. So, dapat ganon yung pagtingin natin. And nagkakataon lang ngayon na mahina yung piso. Pag mahina yung piso, ito'y isang oportunidad ng mga foreign investors na pumunta sa Pilipinas. Diba? We should take advantage of that.
So, which areas in manufacturing do you see opportunities sa Pilipinas?
Well, eventually, unang-una kailangan muna natin mag-manufacture tayo ng power. So, kailangan, hindi gagana ang manufacturing kung wala tayong power. So, narinig naman natin si Presidente Marcos to talk about the power sector, di ba? The potential revival, whether nuclear or other alternative renewable energies, no? Oo. So, ang kailangan natin is manufacturing na magbe-benefit sa ating, yung magke-create ng jobs. Whether these are going to be hard industries tulad ng steel, ito ba ay magpuproduce dito ng mga produkto katulad ng TV, gagawa ba sila ng kotse dito? Diba? Kailangan yung talagang mga magke-create ng jobs, hindi lang tayo puro services. Kailangan natin na magkaroon ng manufacturing jobs. Diba?
Right. But there's also the problem on the agriculture sector na parating laggard in terms of growth.
Yes.
Hopefully the Marcos administration will be able to address kasi meron ng plan to focus infrastructure development sa farms and other rural areas.
Dati naman, talagang meron naman tayo mga infrastructure. Kaso, ang problema lang natin, hindi masyadong focus. Parang kumbaga, we talk about farm-to-market roads, pero wala tayong suporta sa productivity, no? It is only in the since 2018, nung nagkaroon tayo ng problema sa bigas, na naipasa yung Rice Tarification Act. Di ba?
Correct.
So, yung Rice Tarification Act, dati, nung wala pa yung rice tarification, pag nag-aangkat ang gobyerno, humihingi ang NFA sa DOF na magkaroon ng tax subsidy. So, ibig sabihin, hindi tayo nakakakuha ng tarifa dyan. Yung gobyerno kasi ang gumagastos. Ngayong rice tarification, yung mga private sector na ang nag-aangkat ng bigas, ngayon nagbabayad sila ng taripa sa gobyerno. Kumikita ngayon yung gobyerno. In excess of a certain amount, meron tayong close to 14 billion na nai-invest ng gobyerno sa productivity ng mga farmers.
Correct.
Oo, ngayon, ang kailangan natin is to enable the farmers to do well. Diba? Ang problema kasi dati ang gusto natin farm to table. Kaso sa farm to table, ang kumikita dyan, yung trader, yung middleman. Gusto natin tanggalin yung middleman, pero paano natin tutulungan yung farmer? Diyan natin nakikita yung mga banana farmers sa Davao. Diba? They are a community. So, mas nakakapag-mass produce sila. Kung ganyan ang gagawin natin sa agriculture, whether we talk about rice, cassava, that will improve productivity kasi matutulungan sila ng mabuti.
Correct.
Diba? So, sana, now that the President is also the Agri-Secretary, it seems that they're moving in the right direction. Yun lang, kailangan lang natin turuan yung mga LGU, and I think ang best dito yung LGU, para malaman kung anong dapat itanim doon sa kanyang respective areas. Hindi pwedeng lahat tayo magtatanim lang ng bigas. Ng palay. 'Di ba? Dapat kung ano lang yung kailangan. 'Di ba? Kasi pag lahat tayo nagtanim ng palay, useless, babagsak lalo yung presyo, 'di ba? Dapat meron tayong certain areas na pinag-aaralan natin sino magtatanim ng sibuyas, sino magtatanim ng pechay, sino magtatanim ng ibang gulay. Ngayon, na kayang i-produce at saka i-share sa certain areas, di ba? Hindi lahat magtatanim ng kamatis. Tingnan niyo po yung nangyari sa Bukidnon, natapon lang. Di ba? So, kailangan magawa natin ng paraan paano natin ma-distribute agad.
Yeah, siguro ngayon nga yung i-follow up kasi ko sana yung distribution center na actually meron na tayong ganung programa nung 55 years ago, nung panahon ni President the old President Marcos Senior, sa FTI. And then but before that, before we dwell on that more, we will be pausing again for another short break.
Okay, let's see you back.
We will be back. And you are still watching Straight. Kanina, yung the first half ng ating interview with Sir Jonas Avalas is we focus on the Philippine economy. Ngayon naman, because kilala natin si Sir Jonas bilang isang banker. So we will, this segment will now focus on the banking trend. So, Sir Jonas, a number of local banks have been shifting to digital banking. So, do you think digital banking is the future of banking?
Well, I think it is part of financial inclusion. Ibig sabihin, kailangan rin natin yung digital banking. Pero ako, naniniwala ko personally na dapat ang unahin natin is financial literacy bago yung financial inclusion. 'Di ba? Kaya nagiging popular ang digital banks kasi mabilis magbukas ng account. 'Di ba? Kaya nga in the past administration, nakita natin yung pag-open ng or pagkaroon ng national ID para yung mga tao instead na magbangko sa bahay, magbangko sila sa bangko, 'di ba? Yung iba nilalagay lang sa ilalim ng unan, 'di ba? So or sa kahoy nakatago, 'di ba? Ngayon, ini-encourage natin sila na magbangko sa bangko o sa digital bank. Kaso, ang realidad ngayon, hindi naman lahat ng tao merong pwede kang magbayad ng using the QR code. Hindi naman lahat nag-a-accept ng GCash, 'di ba? So, sa probinsya hindi naman lahat ganon. So, kailangan it will take time bago lahat talaga makapagbayad ka ng naka-QR code, 'di ba? Tsaka we also have to think na yung majority ng mga Pilipino hindi naman masyadong high-tech or yung ibang tao hindi naman nakaka-afford ng smartphone. 'Di ba?
That's,
Di ba?
That's a
So
big
kailangan
problem.
lang talagang ang importante lang meron tayong facility ng digital payment.
Mhm.
Di ba? Parang pag tiningnan nyo ang history ng Pilipinas, na kailan ba nagkaroon ng digital innovation sa Pilipinas? Di ba? In the early 1990s, diyan pumasok yung ATM, yung automated teller machine.
Yeah.
Di ba? Pero ngayon, maghanap kayo ng kamag-anak nyo, meron pa ring passbook. Di ba? Sigurista kasi ang Pilipino, gusto niya, nakikita niya, oh, eto pera ko ngayon. Di ba? So, kailangan, ang approach ng isang bangko, dapat ino-offer mo pareho. Depende yan sa siniserve mong market. Di ba? Kaya, yung ibang bangko, meron silang web access. Kasi yung pwedeng gumamit niyan, yung matatanda, kasi kailangan nila malaki screen. Di ba? Ngayon, may mga iba naman na dahil mga bata gusto nila puro QR code, meron din silang produkto niyan, di ba? Kaya nandyan yung GCash, Paymaya, si BDO, meron sila yung BDO Pay. O, di ba? Sa international naman, merong PayPal, di ba? So maraming avenues. Ngayon, meron din dapat yung nasa mobile app. Di ba? Pero ang realidad sa Pilipinas, close to 6 out of 10 Filipinos, wala pa ring savings account. So kailangan matuto sila na mag-ipon para may account sila. Di ba?
Pero ang yung trend ngayon, digital, most into bridge the financial inclusion, the need,
Yun na nga.
the need
Kasi
for
ngayon,
financial
pinakamadali,
inclusion.
di ba? Parang ngayon, dahil sa pandemic, na-increase yung papuntang digital. Kasi nga, one, there's an ease of payment, di ba?
Yes.
Second, the government is also encouraging government transactions through online, di ba? Which lessens corruption kasi ito digital, may ano to di ba? Which is maganda. Yun lang, kailangan lang matuto yung mga tao, di ba? Kailangan marunong sila. You also have to practice the right hygiene para gumamit ng digital. 'Di ba? Kaya tayo maraming nahahack, 'di ba? Kailangan turuan din natin sila paano ang tamang paggamit ng pag meron kang digital account, 'di ba? Yan yung mga challenges ng ang tawag nito ng digital banking.
Shift.
Yeah, kasi I agree with you. Importante kasi na for the lalo sa mga MSME and SME na magkaroon ng digital accounts. Kasi you will have that's one of their way to get access sa financial services. So instead na mangungutang ka ngayon sa mga 5-6 dahil meron kang GCash or PayMay or yung mga account, yung mga apps na yun, may mga they provide loans. O naka-embed sa sa mga services. So, if you have a GCash account now, or meron kang mobile banks, you can apply loan there directly.
Access to financing.
Meron silang mga tinatawag na credit, no? Kaso, alam mo, ang sa akin naiintindihan ko, ang naiisip natin is yung gaano kadali umutang. Pero alam mo, ang pinaka-importante dyan, dapat intindihin muna natin, and this is why I always believe in financial literacy first, no? Isa yan sa aking mga advocacies, no? Meron akong tinatawag na Alcansaya program which has been here for the last 10 years, no? And sa BDO, nung nandun ako, ginagawa ko ito for the BDO Foundation. Ngayon, ang isa sa mga pinaka-importante, lalo na nasabi mong micro SMEs, no? Ang hindi naiintindihan ng mga kababayan natin na nasa micro SMEs is minsan kung wala silang savings account and hawak lang nila cash, ang cash po isang asset yan, isa pong ari yan. Ngayon, pag meron po kayong pera sa bangko, pwede nyo pong gamitin yung cash nyo as a collateral. Pwede po yan po yung tinatawag na back-to-back loan. Yan or tinatawag na no risk loans kung tawagin. So pwede nyo pong gawin yan. Yan po yung pinaka-unang-unang step para po magkaroon po kayo ng kumbaga credit rating. 'Di ba? Para makita po ng branch manager o ng bangko na itong si Mang Jose marunong magbayad. Kung meron kayong 10,000 pahiramin kaya kita ng 5,000 muna. Ang collateral mo itong deposito mong 10,000. Ngayon, pag nabayaran mo ako itong 5,000 in 6 months o baka pwedeng palakihin ko
Mas
yung
malaki.
5,000, gawin kong 8,000. Hanggang maging credit line na yan. Kasi nakikita ko na, mataimtim magbayad itong si Mang Jose. 'Di ba? So, dyan po nabibuild yung tinatawag natin credit worthiness. So, yan po yung challenge ng financial literacy para matuto po yung mga tao. So, syempre, tulad po ng mga micro SMEs, kailangan turuan rin sila paano gumamit ng financial statement. 'Di ba? Pagkatapos, kailangan turuan natin sila paano magnegosyo, di ba? Ang dyan po pumapasok yung tinatawag na turnover, nandyan po yung margin at saka yung leverage, di ba? So, kung sa negosyo po, yung tawag po ng mga in-check or Chinese na tubong lugaw, di ba? Kung maliit ang patong, bibilis ang ikot, di ba? Tapos pag nalaman ng lahat na mura, lahat pupunta dyan. 'Di ba? Pag naintindihan niya ng ating micro SMEs, 'di ba, gaganda yung negosyo nila eh. 'Di ba?
Pero sir, yung role ng government sa financial literacy, do you think they've done enough sa propagation ng para maintindihan ng mga Pilipino how to
Ang
do
problema
things?
kasi natin, nauna sa atin, sa Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, ang sa kanila, nauna yung financial inclusion. So, yung financial inclusion kasi, kasi isa po sa pillars ng central banking, number 1 po is price stability, pangalawa po yung stability ng financial system, at pangatlo, yung ease of payments. Doon sa financial inclusion, nandun po yung ease of payments or yung safety of payments. So, ngayon, dahil yun ang ginamit nilang platform for financial inclusion, meron rin naman silang mga projects on financial literacy. Pero kailangan mas paigtingin yung financial literacy para matuto sila mag-impok sa bangko. Di ba? Kasi ang nangyayari sa atin, mas gaganahan nga kayong gumastos kasi babarilin nyo lang sa telepono nyo, hawak nyo yung pera nyo eh. 'Di ba? So dapat, ang ginagawa natin, pag may mga ganyan, nagkakaroon tayo ng barriers para hindi kayo gumastos, 'di ba? So dapat ganun po yung ginagawa. Kaso ang nangyayari, ini-encourage pa nga ho natin yung tao na gumastos. Diba?
So aside from this digital banking, e-wallet, so another buzzword ngayon sa banking sector is yung open banking. So how do you think this open banking trend will impact the banking sector as a whole?
Well, alam nyo, yung open banking, syempre, with all of these digital products coming, talagang ang sinasabi nila, this could be the demise of banking. Pero alam nyo ho, sa Pilipinas, sa nakita ko, nakikita lang natin yung mga banking transactions sa mga major cities natin. Hindi pa yan masyado kumbaga hindi natin masyado nakikita yan sa mga baryo at saka barangay. 'Di ba?
Yeah, kulang nga sa
Hindi
bangko.
naman lahat ng ating mga barangay at saka mga ibang towns mayroong signal yung telepono, 'di ba? Kaya hindi talaga, it is ideal na gumamit tayo, kaya importante pa rin yung meron kayong network ng mga branches.
Correct.
'Di ba? Kasi kailangan may puntahan kayo, pag may problema kayo, may tatawagan kayo. 'Di ba? It is ideal kung we're talking about 18 to 30 years old. I agree that's digital. But there is still a greater portion of our fellow Filipinos, kailangan natin ng branch. Kailangan natin kumausap ng tao, anong gagawin natin dito? Pag puro digital, kailangan may tumulong sa'yo eh. 'Di ba? So, kailangan ngayon, para gumanda lalo yung economy natin, financial literacy should be your helping hand. Ito yung gagabay sa'yo, anong gagawin mo. That's why kami sa EMBM, pagdating sa farmers, we provide the financial literacy. We provide the financial literacy pyramid. No? Nandyan yung financial literacy para sa pamilya at sa sarili. So, this is all about savings, investment, and budgeting. Number 2, talks about business sense. Paano nyo ma-maximize yung negosyo nyo? Paano nyo agad maibibenta yung mga produkto nyo at hindi mabulok? Diba? Yung pangatlo, yun yung digitalization. Para magamit po ng anak ng mga magsasaka na maibenta yung produce nila through the internet. Total naman yung mga anak ng mga magsasaka ngayon, mahilig mag-TikTok, mag-Facebook. Kailangan turuan sila ng marketing para ma-integrate sila doon sa negosyo ng pamilya nila. 'Di ba? Kung tututukan nila 'yan, that will be a very good business for them. Hindi na nila kailangan magtrabaho. 'Di ba?
Talking about yung services ng e-methods for business management corporation. Paano kami makakabil yung meron kaming grupo, meron tayong maliit tayong negosyante. Paano naman namin ngayon ma-avail yung servisyo ng e-methods o EMBC?
So normally it starts off with the inquiries, no? With EMBM. Pagkatapos, ang gagawin lang naman nila is i-assess ano ba kailangan nila. Then we will provide the necessary training kung kailangan nila ng training. In the past, nung pandemic, meron kaming SME Bayani na show. We hope to revive the SME Bayani series to talk about paano tutulungan yung mga micro SMEs natin or yung SMEs na mag-navigate sa nangyayari ngayon. Isa sa mga popular na ginagawa naming seminar para sa kanila is basically how to survive in these challenging times, no? Ito po itinuturo dito yung tinatawag na SRP. Nandiyan po yung survival. Paano po tayo magsusurvive? Paano po tayo magbabudget? Pangalawa, ano po ba yung pivot to the new abnormal? Paano ba tayo magiging relevant sa mga kliyente natin? Paano tayo makakatulong? 'Di ba? Paano tayo makakapagnegosyo? Yan. Yung pangatlo po, yung R, which is repurpose. Paano po tayo magre-repurpose ng assets na hindi na natin kailangan? Ibibenta ba natin to? Paano ba natin to magagamit? I-retool ba natin yung mga tao natin kasi iba na direksyon natin? Diba? So, ganun po kasimple ang unang-unang encounter namin sa mga micro SMEs at SMEs. Diyan po natin makikita na ito pong mga kumpanyang ito represents close to 90% of our economy na nag-e-employ ng mga tao. Diba? Kaya importante po sila sa ating lipunan.
And you have to succeed kasi yung SMEs ang yung foundation ng economic growth.
Yes. Kaya yan po yung talagang challenge po sa ngayon, no? Kasi syempre yung mga malalaki pong kumpanya hindi naman papansinin yung maliliit 'di ba? So kailangan po sila po ang kailangan tulungan ngayon, lalo na ngayon sa mga pinagdadaanan po ng ating bansa.
Maraming salamat po ulit, Sir Jonathan Ravelas. Thank you for joining us today and for giving us plentiful insight.
Very informative session.
Marami pong salamat and thank you for allowing me to share my views and a little bit of what I'm doing today with EMBM. Maraming salamat po.
It's always a pleasure.
Hopefully you can join us again pagka kailangan namin ulit ng inyong opinion. You can accommodate us again.
Wala pong problema. Again, marami pong salamat.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And that's it for today's episode, mga katribu. Thank you for tuning in. You can join us every Tuesdays and Thursdays from 7:30 to 9 a.m. Once again, I am Coffee Manalo.
And I'm Chito Lozada.
And this is Straight Talk.
Daily Tribune would like to thank the following: Makati City, SM Supermall, Sharp, Central.
Ako po si Arnel Doria at ito ang Good Trip, ang lingguhang biyahe po natin sa mundo ng travel, transportation, road safety at environment. Mapapanood po tuwing Sabado, 1:00 hanggang 2:00 dito po sa Radyo Bandido TV, simulcast on DCRJ 8:10 AM, on Sky Cable Channel 224, digital boxes, and on free-to-air TV. Mapapanood din sa facebook.com/DCRJ 8:10 AM at sa ating official YouTube channel.
Ako po si Sunny Ilustre and my program is PACC Hour, aired every Saturday from 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock p.m. on Radio Bandido TV, simulcast on DCRJ 8:10 AM, on Sky Cable Channel 224, digital boxes, and on free-to-air TV. Facebook.com, DCRJ 8:10 AM, and our official YouTube channel.
I'm Ricky Sunga.
And I'm Ruel So,
We are the Double R sa Radyo Bandido
aired every Saturday
from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m.
on Radyo Bandido TV, simulcast on DCRJ 8:10 a.m.,
You can also watch Sky Cable Channel 224.
digital boxes, and on free-to-air TV.
You can watch also in social media site facebook.com DCRJ 810 a.m.
And our official YouTube channel.
So you can like
Share.
and subscribe to our social media site.
Hi, I'm Barbie Atienza.
And I'm Rina Tolentino.
Alan Visitacion.
Join us on Good Job Philippines every Saturday, 11 a.m. to 12 noon.
On Radio Bandido TV simulcast on DZRJ 8:10 a.m.
On Sky Cable Channel 224, digital boxes, and on free-to-air TV, facebook.com/DZRJ 8:10 a.m.
And on our official YouTube channel. We give you all good news all the time, right here on Good Job Philippines.
May problema ka ba sa asawa?
Sa kaibigan,
Sa katrabaho?
o sa boss mo, tanong mo, sagot ko. Tuwing Martes, 12:00 ng tanghali hanggang 1:00 ng hapon.
Maaring mapanood sa Radyo Bandido. Hi.
This month, we want to go straight to the heart of the Filipino wallet. Check your wallets now. May nakita ka ba? Masaya ka ba sa nakita mo? Huwag ka matakot, i-check mo ngayon. So, if masaya ka sa nakita mo, then this show will make you even happier. Pero, if tinignan mo yung wallet mo ngayon at hindi mo nagustuhan ang natunghayan mo, my friend, this show is for you. Ladies and gentlemen, Juan de la Cruz does not have a savings problem. We have an income situation. Good morning, Philippines. To all Filipinos out there today, nagko-commute or hindi, sa mga may pangarap, may planong umunlad, sa mga Pilipino na tinutulungan ng sarili, sa mga estudyante at willing pa ring matuto, welcome to Straight Talk, Daily Tribune's take on serious issues and potential solutions that might just work for you. So this month, we tackle financial inclusion and financial literacy, the case, the problem, and the answer. I mentioned that we don't have a savings problem. We have an income situation. So how do we produce income apart from working for it or working for money? Do you know how? Well, most of us know how. Probably some are clueless. But for those who know how, are you doing it? Or you're just letting the idea marinate in your brain? So the big question, do you save to spend it on Christmas? Just to spend it on Christmas? Do you save just to spend it on a dream material thing or vacation? Is it bad? I don't think so. After all, money is made to be spent. But to fund these fun times, do we save to fund an income-producing asset? Do we save to fund a small business, your startup, your business? Do we save and not spend it because we have multiple sources of income? In today's episode, I have invited a dear friend of mine. She has been advising me, and of course, probably advising a lot of families and saving a lot of families by doing this. A fellow Tamaraw and one of the best financial advisors I met. Let us welcome Ms. Sid Picache Marquez, a unit manager and financial advisor from Sun Life. Welcome and good morning, Sid.
Hello, good morning.
Hi, Sid. How are you? Nice seeing you again.
I am good. Good morning,
Good morning.
everyone.
Maaga tayo ngayon. Most of the
Yes.
time, sa hapon tayo nag-uusap. Welcome to the show.
nga
Welcome to
eh.
Straight Talk.
Thank you so much.
Okay, straight away. So, I want everyone, our viewers, to know, why did you decide to enter the world of financial advisors?
Okay, so to give you a background first, so I was a marketing management graduate, and initially I've worked with big brands in FMCG companies. So I used to do their brand and marketing activations. Then back in 2017, a close friend who also offered me my very first insurance policy invited me to join Sun Life as a financial advisor. So at first, I was hesitant because it's totally a different field for me, given my background. But then I realized that this job is something that is worth doing. So I entered the financial industry, most specifically the insurance industry, as a financial advisor for so many reasons, but mainly its purpose. So actually right now, I've been with Sun Life for 5 years already. Okay, so and I'm not just a financial advisor, but also a unit manager now. So as a financial advisor, it gives me the opportunity to spread financial literacy, which is to educate and share the value and importance of being financially secured and future ready. So I'm able to change someone's life and their families by helping them to start taking steps to have money for life. So when we say money for life, it is Sun Life's way of helping you create your own personalized financial plan based on different stages of your life, and wherein each life stage, it has a unique set of goals and needs. So to have money for life means enjoying the financial freedom to live your life as you choose, because you are prepared for the expected and the unexpected events in our journey.
Great. So what makes it really interesting is the word freedom, financial freedom. Probably we can tackle that later on. So you mentioned you've talked with a lot of families and you've emphasized the importance of financial education. That's something we need right now to focus on. I mean, the new government's doing a lot of work early on to support the economy, to support the country. So, dapat tapatan siya talaga from the people's side, this new energy, this new focus on financial education. But going straight to the second question, so what makes it important? Ito na nga, dito tayo papasok. What makes it important for every Pinoy? Not just the ones who are, well-educated, but for every Pinoy out there, for all the walks of life, to be aware and specifically well-versed in finance. Why? What makes it important?
Yes, so it is important to be aware of our finances because it will help us plan ahead, to avoid and eliminate financial problems. So it's gonna be easier for us to cope from it. We have daily needs, diba? And we make decisions that greatly involves money every day. So, and know that money is behavioral. No? So behavioral siya. And how we deal with it would tell more about ourselves, our character. It impacts our sense of morality, our relationships with others, and our mental health. No? So when we say, yun nga sabi natin, diba, we have daily needs. So every day, there are really situations that you would ask yourself, wait lang, what should I do today? I'm gonna check my budget. So for example, when it comes to food, diba, that's basic need. No? So you will think na, ano kaya yung pasok sa budget ko? Diba? Yeah. Given that the prices of commodities right now are really increasing, diba? So what should be the best thing to do, diba, when it comes to this kind of situations? And same is, for example, like in transportations, diba? Every day we go. Right now, syempre, it's more lax, diba? We're getting back to we are now in the new normal, so maluwag na, lumalabas na tayo. And when it comes to talking about transportation, diba, you would ask yourself, wait, ang taas ng gas ngayon. Diba?
True.
You're gonna decide
kahit yung mayayaman, nagre-reklamo.
Exactly. So you're gonna think na, am I going to bring my car? Or should I just go for commute? Do I just ride
or use your bike, diba?
Bus,
use
your bike. Yes, diba? So, kumbaga, you're checking your options, diba?
Yes.
So that is very important kasi every day kumbaga involve talaga yung money, involve yung finances in every decision and being financially literate means that you don't decide based on your emotions, but with thorough understanding of what could be the financial impacts in the present and future. So in every decision you make, it can affect your present and of course your future. So you are aware, when you're financially literate, you are aware on ways on how to properly manage or budget your finances. Then there, you can have a financially responsible decision. So when we say financial literacy, it also talks about planning, building your funds for what you need. It starts from saving for emergency funds, protecting your income, preparing for the education of your kids, saving for life milestones, protecting your health, preparing for your retirement, and building legacies through the wealth that you have created. But if you remembered earlier that I mentioned money for life, so when you say money for life, it addresses the goals and needs in different life stages. So ito yung mga yun na how do you plan for it? Kumbaga, you don't just look at your current situation, hindi lang just short term yung tinitignan natin, but also a long-term goals and needs natin. How do we address them? And that is why it is important to know how to handle finances properly, because if we don't know how to manage them and control our money, money will control us.
True, very true.
Money will control us.
That's very true.
And if we don't know where our money is going, money will just pass through our hands. Diba? So parang paycheck to paycheck ka na. Diba? And if we don't know how to maximize the use of our money, then we also lose opportunities. So these things may lead us to poor decisions and then eventually to unfortunate situations.
Thank you for that, Sid. Napakaganda na sinabi mo. And specifically, I'm taking notes. I'm taking notes. So money is behavioral. That's true.
Yes.
That's true. And sometimes just to add, and sometimes we're not aware that we're making financial decisions unconsciously. Because it has been behavioral. Sometimes we spend and we're not really aware of the impact of it long term. That's why it's an attitude. Spending, financial lifestyle is an attitude, 'di ba? And isa sa mga tumatak dapat palagi tinataan before it goes out. 'Di ba? There's a specific ruling, 'di ba? Always keep your money, 'di ba? Before it goes out, 'di ba? Before it goes out. Tama 'yung sinabi mo kanina.
Yes.
You should remind yourself, wait lang. 'Di ba? Stop for a while, 'di ba? And look for the impact of it. That's why it's very important that you highlighted that there should be a specific goal for building wealth. Regardless of who you are, whether you're a simple person with just a single source of income or a person with multiple sources of income, you should consider building wealth long term. And in considering that, dun papasok yung spending attitude. Dun papasok yung behavioral. So, given that, so tama-tama sa third question, so our third question is, what problems, ito, and I'm really telling everyone watching right now, and if you can share, this is very important so that most of our friends and loved ones could be aware of this. What problems are likely to happen if an adult, Filipino adult, is not financially literate? Yan ang question.
Yeah. So, if we are not prepared for life uncertainty, so what are these life uncertainties? So, sickness, accidents, death, and then of course, not only that, the needs and goals that you're gonna have for your everyday living, diba? And in the next days, in the long term, no. So if we are not prepared for those kind of things, then it may cause some financial impact to each one in the family, and someone can be a burden. Filipinos can experience financial shortage, ibig sabihin hindi enough. Diba? Shortage in household expenses such as rent, utilities, bills, and food. Diba? And some may experience also insufficiency in school expenses for their kids. No? Also, insufficiency in expenses for medical treatments and on loan payments. No? So this can all boil down on our behavior when we receive our money. So I'd like to share with you, no. So you've been mentioning about saving habits, no. So I'd like to share with you 3 behaviors of Filipinos when it comes to money and saving habits. No? So the first is the typical behavior of Filipinos. No? That the moment you receive your income or salary, without too much thinking, automatically the next best thing to do is to spend the money, right?
Nako, ang dami niyan. Last Friday. Madami yan.
Last Friday is payday, no?
Yeah, madami yan.
So when you receive your income, usually talaga, the first thing that pops in your mind, where will I spend this? Diba?
Galit na galit pa yan. Galit yan, nagmamadali yan.
Nagmamadali pa, diba? Bagong sweldo ako, ano ba magandang bilhin, diba? And naiinis ka pa minsan pagka di mo maisip agad kung ano ba yung bibilhin mo. No? And then, after that, after spending your income, at may natira pa, diba? Magugulat ka pa na, hindi ba, may na-save pala ako. No? So, magugulat ka pa na may na-save ka pa. So, you call this behavior an accidental savers.
Attitude, di ba?
Yes, so, behavior again, di ba? So, ito yung mga tao na hindi sinasadyang makaipon pa.
Surprise!
Diba? Kasi, first thing in their mind nga is to get rid of their money, spend it elsewhere. Diba? And then, magugulat sila na, may na-save pa pala ako. So, wow, congrats to myself. Diba? May naipon pa. And then the second is...
The views and comments of the hosts and guests are not necessarily those of the station.
You are watching the multi-awarded Radio Bandido TV on Channel 224 Sky Cable and TV Plus boxes. Simulcast on DZRJ 8:10 a.m. Informing, advising, and entertaining the Filipinos and OFWs around the world. Streaming live on www.facebook.com/DZRJ 8:10 a.m. or on YouTube, channel DZRJ 8:10 a.m. Radio Bandido. To all Teleradio Bandido viewers and listeners, you can now watch Teleradio Bandido on our new YouTube channel, DZRJ 8:10 a.m. Radio Bandido. Hit the subscribe button and like the video. Don't forget to click the bell icon so you get notified when a new video gets uploaded. Don't miss out on our dynamite lineup.
If you like listening to this station, DZRJ 810 AM, there's no excuse not to listen anywhere and wherever you want. Listen on your phone or computer anytime, anywhere in the world. Just download the app for free. How do you download? If you have an Android phone or tablet, go to Google Play Store. If you have an iPhone or iPad, go to Apple App Store. It's that simple. You have 3 choices. Just type in TuneIn Radio. Once the app is downloaded, search for DZRJ 810 AM. For Radio Garden app, once it's downloaded, search for DZRJ 810 AM. And for Streama app, that's STREEMA. And once it's downloaded, search for DZRJ 810 AM. And now you can enjoy DZRJ 810 AM anytime and anywhere. Hey, it's free.